So this is your friend in the gospel, Pastor A.T. Robinson. I am coming to you with a video, and this is a off the cuff video, unsolicited. I have nothing edited to add to my particular broadcast for today. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I want to keep it as fresh and raw as possible, coming off of the podcast that I just did with my co-host. That is Breaking the Silence with Dr. Lady V and Isaac Davis, Dr. Bennett as well, and Pastor Mel. And so we were just talking about today is a resolution versus solution. And essentially, what it amounts to is we were talking about why people don't change or don't stick with changes. On my talking points, I was talking about how I and my wife decided to make some changes in our diet. I also decided to make some changes as we get closer because I noticed that most humans take time to change, and usually they don't start changing directly on January 1. So it is smart to go ahead and make those moves before you get to the actual date. Some people always say, hey, why do we need a particular day? I should be able to change daily. Well, the truth of the matter is, just like you do at work and business, there's a annual review. There's a thing that we do in order to kind of get ourselves together, and we mark time. We talk about what we've did on this past year, what we would like to do in the future based off what we perceive is going to happen, what we want for our life. And the thing about it is everyone should want to have and do better. So knowing myself and things that I want to change in my life, I'll talk about kind of what God has put place in my heart. But knowing myself, what I wanted to change as far as my diet and stuff, we started like 6 weeks ago. Beef, pork, those type things, chicken, shrimp, and then I'm more going towards a vegan or vegetarian type diet. My body tends to respond very well, and I want to be able to have my complete health going into the new year. But the only way you get that way is if, one, you have a mind change, and so you decide that you want to go ahead and starts in the mind and get your mind right to where you can make these moves. You're not going to do anything unless you're honest with yourself about what you want to do. A lot of people know they have issues. They know they need to change. They know they need to lose weight. They know they need to save money. They know they need to change these things, but then they convince themselves in their mind that they don't need to do it now. They can wait. They still have time. There's no need for it. They go ahead and eat whatever they want to eat. And then you go to the doctor and he's saying, hey, you need to take this particular medicine here and there. But we already knew before we got to the doctor that we needed to make these changes in our lifestyle. And ultimately, if we are completely honest with ourselves, we knew these things, but we did not have our mind set to change. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And so our thoughts are what really propels us to where we want to go. Well, there's some issues that we may go into this new year and trying to figure out what we want to do and how we want to maintain it, because that was one of the key points. It's like, hey, people start stuff in January, but they don't finish. Well, what happens? A couple of factors happen. One, they did not have a plan. They did not have a plan, and they went too deep. They try to get everything at one time. I know somebody says, hey, can I lose 30 pounds in 15 days? Yes, it's possible. But one, do you really want to do that? And is it healthy? Is it sustainable? Just because you're able to do it, is it sustainable for your lifestyle? Otherwise, the body likes gradual changes. The people in general like gradual changes. We don't like things to change so quickly over time. So yes, can you lose 30 pounds in 15 days? You can, but you end up gaining back a lot of times those 30 plus some additional, because you have not sustained it gradually and given the body time to adjust to make this a sustainable thing so that you're maintaining as opposed to just going back to the way you used to. Ultimately, those are some of the issues that you have with your own self as far as your discipline and biting off stuff too much, taking too much upon yourself instead of taking those gradual changes. Incremental changes mean a lot. You see the progression. There's a saying that says trust the process. So we have to make sure that we trust the process in the things that we do so that they are maintained. Plus, if you make a mistake on those small mistakes, you can correct them so that the next day you can go ahead and win the day. If all my stuff is banked on, I got 15 days to lose 2 pounds a day or whatever, the moment I eat one thing, my whole numbers are thrown off. So now I got to do twice as much the next day, and that puts a lot of pressure on us, and we don't tend to like those type things. We don't tend to like those type pressures. So that's one thing. The other thing is, psychologically we don't always perform well with our changes because other people don't like the way we do changes. What I mean by that is, there was a study that I once did that said that one issue why people don't change is because they are responding to other people's reaction to their change. What that means is, if somebody decides that they want to lose weight and say, oh, now you're being bougie, you think you somebody because you this, that, and the other, you look different. They don't understand the changes that you've gone in your life. So therefore they put those social pressures on you because they don't understand how they fit with those changes. And so that a lot of times knocks people out. So what I wanted to say and I didn't get a chance to say is that that's the reason why sometimes in a family, it's better if everybody's on one accord on what they want to do together. It's harder for us as people to go on this thing alone, and you're seeing everybody else. If I'm supposed to be eating vegetables and stuff like that, and then I see everybody else eating hot wings or something like that. That's the reason why, for me, when my wife also decided that she was changing her diet as well as taking some things out, then it made it easier for me to make some moves. So now we're eating similar things. So, but because I know that she may be on a slower transition, she's going to transition. She's on her own path, and my path does not push her into anything that she doesn't need to go. We both have our own thing, but we're headed in the right direction. So as I begin to eat more of a vegan or vegetarian diet, which is what I choose to do, she may still be eating chicken or seafood or those type things as she gets towards the progression. And if she never changes, she at least knows where we are and nobody's fighting each other. She's not, well, you can't do this because we can't go here because you can't do this. You can't do this. And those are the things that kind of keep us from moving forward in our relationships, in our walk. Now, that's just dealing with food, but just our lifestyle changes and the things that we may want to do. So it was a great session, a great podcast. It's roughly about an hour long, so I encourage anybody to grab some of the stuff that is said, because everyone had great insights on there. Because ultimately, if we decide that we want to be better, we're going to have to be honest with ourselves and not lie to ourselves. And we tend to lie to ourselves and say that, one, we don't need to do it, or two, we still have time to do it, and we don't know how much time that we have. One of the things that Dr. Bennett said, well, no, Lady V said, she said something to the nature of that it needs to be a health change, as opposed to, I'm not trying to lose weight, I'm trying to live healthy and live a better life and eat healthy. We also talked about how sometimes you just need to be moderate, instead of trying to do everything or eat everything, just get a piece. Because sometimes psychologically, when you tell somebody they can't do stuff, that's when they want to run and do the exact opposite of what you just told them to do. And then we also talked about discipline, being able, and that's the thing that I asked God for on this year. I want to be disciplined in every aspect of my life, my word life, my prayer life, my fasting life, my relationship with God and man and children. I want to be disciplined in my work. I want to make sure I have a level of consistency and control and discipline in all aspects of my life, and allow God to give the increase and be able to work with what we have, what He has in my life. Even in my studies, I talked about how I just graduated a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, and I'm dealing with the fact that towards the end of the semester, man, I was just kind of loose and I really wasn't focused, and it was hard to write those papers, where in times past I was a little bit more disciplined and I did not allow my schedule to kind of get in front of me. And that's the thing. If you're more disciplined with your schedule and you controlling your life and simplifying your life and putting only what's needful, not spending all your time in front of the TV. There's nothing wrong with watching TV, but that should not be your whole day. It's you should have something to contribute. What you're watching, a lot of times what you're watching. If you watch too much TV, the problem is you're watching something that somebody took the time to create of their talents and their skills for you to watch. But you're not contributing anything to the world. They've already made their contribution to the world by creating this particular show or these shows. But you have your contribution as well. What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table of life and humanity? So on this year, I encourage each and every one of you to begin to do God's best, live God's best, and do the best that God, be the person that God has called for such a time as this. It was a great broadcast. I encourage you to watch it. Once I post this, I'll put the link in the description as well, so you can check it out in its entirety if you want to. But just to give a synopsis, but I was encouraged, and I may do this quite often, where after I do this podcast, I'll talk about some of the stuff, just give you a synopsis of what we talked about. And if you're interested, go ahead and watch the go to their particular page and you can check it. And that was our last one for the year, and I look forward to what God is doing in this season of our lives and in your lives. I pray that you are blessed and highly favored, that you are healthy, that you take care of yourself and do what is pleasing unto God, and begin to live this life pleasing unto God, and ultimately the best life possible. Listen, if I said anything that bless you or encourage you, please like, comment, share, say something, put something on there. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe and connect with us as we begin to continue to preach the word of God and talk about daily life things to have that balance in life. I'm your friend in the gospel, as always, Pastor A.T. Robinson. I love you much. Go in peace and have a wonderful day and have a wonderful new year, and be blessed going forward. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. And I'll try to do another video, but if I don't see you before then, Happy New Year. Peace.